Hello, it's Andy from Keyword Insights, and in this video I'm going to show you how to interpret or use the cluster report either within the UI or on the spreadsheet, or however you want to look at it really, and give you some ideas about the sort of things you may be able to do with it. So let's jump right in. To run through this example, we're going to assume that you have selected a domain to track against. The reason being, what we do is scan all the keywords in your cluster and work out the average ranking for each keyword. So it's very good for quickly spotting, gaps in your content, which we'll show you shortly. And we're going to assume you've toggled the search intent on. As you can see, it is only available in English and German. We are going to be rolling out more languages, and it's not the end of the world if you don't have that selected. It just makes it very easy and quick to find or distinguish the informational content from any transactional content. So we're going to assume you've got them. You'll have been sent. We're also going to assume you've already uploaded the project and you've got your email, but you can access your projects either via this tab here, or you could go straight into the recent clusters here and then find your project that way. For this example, we'll just go through the demo one, and immediately you'll be presented with a UI that looks like this. Now, depending on what your actual goals are and where you've clustered the keywords, there's various different things you can do here, various filters, and various pieces you can dive into to get what you're after. So what I'm going to do is just briefly go back over the advantage of clustering here, and then I'm going to work in the spreadsheet to begin with, and then show you how the UI differs, because it's useful for getting some context and how to use them both. So first of all, the clustering has already made my massive list. There were 6,000 keywords in this list, and it's been grouped into a much more manageable 754 clusters, or we call them cluster cards. And you can see them here. So this cluster card is on keyword research, and these are all the keywords that would belong in that cluster. This is free keyword research tool, and these are all the keywords that would belong in that cluster. So it just makes that massive list more manageable, and really tells us that for those 6,000 keywords, there's 754-ish pieces of content we need to create. Now, I'm going to start by working in the spreadsheet version, which you can make a copy like that. I've already opened one here. And if you head to the pivot table by keyword tab, this is what it looks like. The first thing I always do is just make it a little bit more easy to read. I like working in one decimal place. My mind doesn't work that way. And I like to freeze the top row here. Freeze one row. Cool. So the first thing I can do, if, let's say, for example, I was a consultant for HubSpot and they'd asked me to come on board and find any content. They wanted to become a topical authority on keyword research. They wanted to rank for everything to do with that. And they've asked me to find any content opportunities that relate to keyword research that they might have. Now, HubSpot have got 40,000 articles on their website. I've checked. It's about that. Maybe it's slightly less. So how can I very quickly identify what topics are missing on a site already that big? So I've gone away, I've done my keyword research, I've pulled 6,000 keywords, I've dumped them into the clustering tool, I've selected the rank to cross-check what the rank is, and my reports come out. So straight away, I'm scanning down here and I can see, on average, for this cluster here, we rank on average in position 18. And so these are all the keywords there, and we can see the ranking URL here. And competitor keyword research, we rank on average 57. So that's interesting. We probably don't have, and you can look at the opportunity column here, by the way. The opportunity is showing you, we've worked out basically a rough click-through rate depending on where you are. If you ranked in position 1, the opportunity would be 0 because there's no more traffic left to have. If you rank in position 2, we don't just take the search volume, we take the click-through rate on average of position 2, which is probably about 9%, and we give you a number. So the opportunity and the rank go hand in hand of working out roughly where you are. I prefer to use the ranking column just because it's quicker for me to work out if we have or have not content on it. And if someone like HubSpot is ranking on average in position 57, it's likely that they don't have content for that. And in fact, if I expand this, we'll have a look. Yeah, so they've got this URL that ranks 10 online spying competitors' traffic. So it's an article grading some tools on how to spy on a competitor's traffic rather than how to do keyword research, how to find your competitor's keyword research. So this is a new article they should, possibly think about creating, and then internally link to it from that one. So a really quick way, if I wanted to find these content opportunities rapidly, I could just go down here, add a little filter on. So just show me all of the ones where the rank is filtered by condition is greater than 50. And now I've got a load of ideas where we don't rank very well. You can see here 9900, and it's likely that we don't have content for. So Amazon keyword research, competitor keyword research, keyword research for PPC. So these are all good ideas that have quickly found gaps just by adding some simple filters. Now, obviously, if you're a new website or you're working with a website that's starting into a new niche, or you've got no content at all, you wouldn't be using this rank to find the gaps. You could just go away and start looking at the clusters and working out what pieces of content need to be made. So every time you see a cluster, basically what we're saying is this cluster is a piece of content that you need to create. So that's where these tabs come in as well. So where you're looking at the article, the product, or other page, what this is saying is for this keyword on, well, actually, let's do another one. For this keyword, this one here, let's do this one, local keyword research. For this keyword and all the keywords in this cluster, on average, 8 out of the top 10 results are an article. Well, sorry, on average, yeah, 8 out of the top 10 is an article, 1 is a product page, and 1 is another page. So I could even put another filter on here and say, just show me the ones that are more likely articles. So, show me the ones that are more likely to be actual content opportunities. So now I've literally put another filter on, and each one of these is a guide or an article that HubSpot probably needs to create. The problem from here is, how do I we had a lot of feedback, so people wanted to leave notes. So let's say this wasn't relevant for you. You can't easily delete something out of a pivot table. So if I hit that, well, you can't easily delete it. If I try and delete it, nothing happens, it comes back. It's because there's a pivot table pulling from this sheet here. And so if I wanted to delete all these keywords out or mark them as irrelevant, I'd have to get rid of them out of this tab. The other problem is, if I want to leave notes, so if I wanted to say, hey, we'll do this next week, I could add a note like this, I guess. We'll do this another time. But then this note will move around as the pivot table moves around, so that's not great either. The other thing is, if I want to now start creating a piece of content on that, I've got to, write it down or put it into a sheet and then come back to our tool. So the Google Sheets are still here to use and use it if you prefer this format, but you may prefer to work in the UI, and I'll show you how that works. So straight away, if I wanted to recreate that idea of adding these filters to show me the content gaps, I can very quickly go, hey, show me all the clusters where we rank in position 50 to 100 that are informational, and yeah, just show me that. Great, so I've got all those here now. I can just expand to see more. And the great thing about working in the UI of the tool here as well is I can very quickly add these to my writing assistant or my briefing module if I wanted to go and create content on it. So for example, let's say I did want to write this article on keyword research for PPC. I can add this and it will send it straight into my AI writing assistant, and I can go ahead and start writing it. In fact, the writing assistant also outlines the piece of content as well, so I can get the auto outline quickly made. Then I might have keyword research for why is keyword research important? Let's add that to my content brief module or my writing assistant. And you can click on this and you can see how the SERP results would look in a given country. So you can change how that might look, and you can see this is basically replacing a VPN. So you might look at it that way. The other thing you can do, as I said, sometimes people wanted to leave notes and delete things. You can come through and actually mark them as irrelevant or other or relevant, and it just makes it easier to filter these out. So what we sometimes do is get someone in we give them a very detailed brief, a VA or something, and they'll come in and mark all the ones that don't follow our brief as irrelevant. So they'll go through these 754 and mark them all up for us or tag them. And it just means that when someone else or someone else in the team comes into the project, they can very quickly add a filter on and say, only show me the relevant ones, filter out all the irrelevant ones. I'll just mark these as none for now. The other thing we can do is add these notes. So as I said, sometimes people want to add notes to it, so I can have the note here. We'll do this next year. And of course, anyone in your team can then come back and see that note. You can also view this as a table. So this reflects more what you saw in the pivot table in Google Sheets here. We've just sort of recreated that in the UI so that you can also expand it and add these direct to your writing assistant if you wanted to, or add your notes if you wanted to there as well. So it just depends on what view you want to see it. You can also go to the topical clusters tab, and there's a whole section on topical clusters within our documentation I recommend you check out. But this then very quickly groups the clusters together. So these are all your individual clusters, and if you click on topical clusters, we group the clusters, we cluster your clusters, so to speak. So if I clicked on bubbles, we'll very quickly see what that means. So by default, the bubbles are colored by rank. So the redder the bubble, the more likely it is that we don't have content on it. And the size of the bubble is the opportunity. So straight away, my eyes are drawn to this big bubble here. And if I zoom in, we can see that there's a number of content ideas around Amazon keyword research. So best Amazon keyword research tool, how to do Amazon keyword research for Amazon affiliates. So there's at least, because some of these are irrelevant, keyword research for Amazon products, keyword research Amazon specialist isn't relevant. I probably wouldn't want to write about that. So there's at least 4 or 5 ideas in this bubble just related to keyword research for Amazon. So if I wanted to become a topical authority, I would have to cover all of these, a topical authority on Amazon keyword research, all of these, and they all would interlink together. And again, everything in the tool is built to flow. So I could click on this and send this to my writing assistant or my brief as well. And you can see it's going to my briefing module there. So that's how to view the topical clusters. Again, you can view it as a table. We unroll it and you can see all the clusters within the clusters. But again, please refer to the documentation specifically on topical clustering for more details on that. As I said, clustering isn't just for finding content gaps or even creating content like that. You can also use it for identifying keyword cannibalization. That is where 2 pages basically compete against each other. And if you wanted to view those other ideas for what you can do with keyword clustering, head over to our blog section on our site and click on inspiration, and you will find loads of ideas that you can use keyword clustering for. So these 2 case studies are how you can use it to identify keyword cannibalization. Content fragmentation is a way to use keyword clustering to find new ideas you'd never thought about. And there's loads of other ideas in here. So please always check out our inspiration for more ideas about how you can use keyword clustering to basically turbocharge your content strategy. But that's the module. We've gone through the Google Sheets. We've gone through the UI. We've gone through what a cluster really means. It's grouping all keywords together that are similar to each other. And we've gone through how you can very quickly push clusters of keywords to our writing assistant and start writing content very quickly. If there's anything else, please reach out and we'd always be more than happy to help. Thank you very much.